joining our session on professional certification and strategy. Is it right for you? Before we begin, I would like to thank today's webinar sponsor, LBL Strategies. Thank you, LBL Strategies, for sponsoring today's webinar. Moving on to our next slide, I would like to introduce our first speaker for today, Deborah Mcguire, who is a member of ASP's Certification Commission and is currently the Executive Director at the International Association of Assessing Officers. Welcome and thank you for joining us today, Deborah. Our next speaker is also a member of ASP's Certification Commission and is currently a partner at the Hain Center of Strategic Management. Welcome and thank you for joining us, Barbara Collins. So without further ado, I would like to hand it over to Deborah Mcguire. Over to you.
Thank you, Karishma, and a warm welcome to everyone from around the globe joining us today. I'd like to start talking a little bit about the Association for Strategic Planning's vision and mission. A little bit of background. We've got a lot to cover, so we're just going to jump right in. Talking about ASP's vision. Some of you may be familiar with ASP and some may not. So for those who aren't, we're going to just take a moment here to talk about what ASP stands for. Our vision at ASP is to be the global standard bearer for organizational transformation and success through strategy. And our mission is to lead and support people and organizations through the promotion of a holistic approach to strategy management and by setting standards for strategy through thought leadership, professional development, and certification. And our vision there and our mission together are applicable to almost all industries and professions and ethical everywhere here in the world. So we're going to look a little bit about best practices, and ASP really can be your one-stop shopping, if you will, for all things strategy. The next slide, Barbara. And a little bit about ASP. It is a membership organization, and our membership reflects a broad range of fields. That's from organization leaders through business, government, and nonprofit leaders that are responsible for strategy design and execution. We also have academia here. Professors, authors, and students are part of our membership, as well as strategy practitioners and consultants, again, from around the world. So that's who belongs to ASP. In terms of what do you get as a member of ASP, why should you belong? You get access to free monthly webinars in our community of practice discussions. You have access to Strategy Magazine, past conference presentations, and other cutting-edge thought leadership pieces. There's also discounts on events and our annual conference, as well as our certification. And one of the best benefits, I think, is the local and virtual networking with your peers. You also have access to the strategic planning body of knowledge at no charge, which is very beneficial for all of us in the area of strategy. And once a year, we do hold a global conference. The next one coming up is May 18th through the 20th, and that will be conducted virtually there, and you see the dates. So as a member, you get discounts also if you're able to attend this particular event. There's also many, many other ways to get involved and contribute. So one of those is the international conference that we just spoke about. The other is the magazine, and we'll talk about that just a little bit more in a minute. We also have global webinars, and these are great. They cover a wide range of topics, and you even could contribute to those ultimately as well. We also have communities of practice. And again, just like it is in my area of assessment and real estate, it's always location, location, location. And I think in the area of strategies, it's network, network, network. And these communities of practice will also offer you that, as well as the availability to participate at the local level with a local chapter. And I said that we would talk just a bit more about the Strategy Magazine. And this is dedicating to helping you make your strategy work. And if you want to, you can also contribute ideas to it. So again, it's a give-get, if you will, type of a relationship with ASP. So we hope you will consider joining. Next, we're going to turn to one of the most valuable benefits of belonging to ASP is certification. And many of you have other certifications, but we're going to talk about this just a bit for those who may be new to the area of certification and why it matters to them. What is professional certification? Well, it's an impartial third-party attestation of an individual's level of knowledge or proficiency in a certain industry or profession. Also, it's granted by authorities in the field, such as professional societies like ASP or private certificate granting agencies. It is also time limited, and the benefit of most certifications are that they're portable, which on the global stage, really this is huge. And this is what our certification also offers here. The questions you may want to be asking yourself, is this right for you? So questions that you should consider when you're thinking about certification is, what are your career goals? What are your personal goals? What does your ideal future look like? What must certification do for you to achieve your personal and career goals? Are the benefits of certification consistent with your personal and career goals? Can certification help achieve your ideal future? And these are only questions that you can answer yourself. So that's why we pose them here, because it's very important, because certification is a commitment. Let's look a little bit further as career goals go, a little deeper. What does your ideal future look like? And it could be many different things. And we're going to just pop up a bunch of bullet points here. We talk about it could be related to your earnings, your income, your knowledge, your expertise, your job position, your title, leadership, responsibilities, your reputation, your achievements, relationships, as well as your experiences. Furthermore, we really want to take a look at what your personal goals are. And we've got a little worksheet here for you to delve into as you consider this. What does your ideal future look like personally? What are your core values? What about your family, your health and well-being, your career, your faith, finances, community service, learning and education, friends, and leisure activities? How does this fit in? How does certification fit into your life? Next, let's go to the next slide and talk about what could certification do for you. Well, it can do a whole lot. So let's take a look at some of the key ways. One is that, not that it's the most important, but it could help you get a raise, a promotion, or a bonus, or in many cases, all three. It will make you more valuable to your employer, make you more marketable too within your industry or within an industry that you'd like to be in. It will also give you a competitive edge in job interviews and make you the clear choice every time in competitive bidding for consulting engagements. Also, position you as the go-to person when your colleagues need advice or an answer to a question. In addition, it will position you for leadership roles. And lastly, it can and will expand your knowledge and skills. And how can certification help? Well, let's look at a few questions here that you can answer yourself. Is certification consistent with your personal and career goals? Does it offer what you need to be the best version of you? Which of the benefits of certification will help you achieve one or more of your career goals and fulfill your vision of your ideal future? And which of the benefits of certification will help you achieve one or more of your personal goals and fulfill your vision of your ideal future? Once again, these are questions that you really need to dig deep and determine what's of value to you, because that way certification will have the most meaning. So let's talk about certification and what's in it for you. What has certification done for others? The benefits of certification we've talked about are real. Those benefits are being enjoyed every day by professionals who hold certifications in strategy. Let's hear from one practitioner. We can talk about this on a hypothetical theoretical level, but let's talk about what certification has done for others. And we have a guest with us today, and we are just delighted to have Abdul Rahman Al-Turki with us from Saudi Arabia. who has received our certification here. And maybe, Mr. Al-Turki, could you talk a little bit about your experience and your advice for prospective certificates?
Yeah, sure, Deborah. My journey with the ASP certification started 1 year ago when I first knew about the association. I immediately registered as a member and went through the ASP body of knowledge. I was truly amazed by the content of the body of knowledge, as it contains all the required processes, theories, tools and techniques, roles and responsibilities related to the field of strategic planning and strategic management. And that's what makes ASP certification different from any other strategy certification currently exists, which mostly focus on certain topic or methodology. That's what made me excited to go for the exam and to be certified. So I took my exam early this month, and I'm glad I did.
And how is it changing? How do you prospectively see it changing your life and your career?
Of course, Deborah. I just received my certification this month, so I'll talk about the professional certifications in general. I believe professional certifications can benefit you in many different ways. It demonstrates the fact that you have the required skills to do the job, which in turn will provide you with more opportunities to grow and get promoted. And honestly, that was the case for me. In the last 5 years, I worked to achieve several professional certifications, and they truly paid off.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So we can go back to our slide deck, Barbara. The bottom line really is certification, is it right for you? And if you're interested in learning more, the best source for information about a professional certification strategy is the Association for Strategic Planning website. And this association is the world's premier professional association serving the strategy profession. And with that, we have a short video to share with you. I think it's about 2 minutes. And before Barbara will get into the specifics about ASP's 2 certifications. Barbara, would you like to roll that video?
I can offer my clients the full spectrum, and that's what SPP has done for me.
The credibility that the certification brings to me, the confidence to drive the business strategy initiatives,
to create a huge network of peers, colleagues in strategy.
The exercise of preparation for the certification has been of great added value and growth.
It helps me focus more on best practices on a daily basis.
Compliments to my technical expertise and also to my management skills.
It has helped create more professional growth opportunities.
The Association for Strategic Planning, the ASP, offers 2 professional certifications in the field of strategy. Strategic Planning Professional, the SPP. Strategic Management Professional, the SMP. The ASP was established in 1999, and it is the only not-for-profit global professional association dedicated to advancing thought and practice in strategy development and deployment for business, nonprofit, and government organizations. Be among strategy professionals who hold our certifications and join a network of experts from around the globe who work at the largest companies and government organizations.
Is the worst thing ever.
Well, sorry about, looks like we had a few bandwidth issues there, but I think you got the gist of what the value of ASP is and how it can help you. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Barbara Collins, one of my colleagues on the Certification Commission, and she'll explain more specifically on the requirements for the 2 certifications that we mentioned earlier. So Barbara?
Okay, thanks, Deborah. I'd actually like to just support all of the people you've just seen talking about certification and the value of it. I was involved in the beginning of this process 10 years ago with the Association for Strategic Planning. And I am a pioneer strategic management professional, helped actually develop the certification. And I feel very strongly that pursuing an advanced degree or a certification process is a credit to one's ability to persist, to do the work, to study, and to make the effort to increase their skills and their abilities to do the work that they do. And in this case, to achieve a credential, to achieve something that says an organization has determined, has tested you, has made requirements of you, and certifies that you are qualified in the profession you're pursuing. And something that Deborah mentioned earlier is that certification carries with you. One of the things about strategy certification, as Deborah also mentioned, is that it conveys to any field. I've worked with banks, with not-for-profit organizations, with prisons. I've worked with such a variety of organizations, and the principles of strategy development, of strategy evaluation, of creating effective change in the world really convey across organizations. And it's why I feel so strongly that certification is a wonderful addition to your portfolio and your resume. So, as it says here on the screen, at strategyassociation.org, you will see in the menus certification. In fact, on the front page, there is a big ad right now for the current certification period. But that is a place you can go to get further information on what I'm going to be presenting now. And you'll be able to see the applications and read more about the process when we're finished. And you will have a recording of this webinar so that you can refer back to it as well. And we will be taking questions at the end of this part of the presentation. So I see that they've already begun to accumulate in the chat box, and we'll be looking at those and trying to answer them to the best of our ability. So once again, on the ASP website, there is further information about how to become certified. But also we want to share with you that we have close to 300 certified people at this point. We have, if you have questions, I'm sure that they will be among the ones we've been asked before, and we will be answering them. We have a certification framework called the Body of Knowledge. It has been updated a number of times in the last 10 years. We have 2 levels. The first is the Strategic Planning Professional Certification, and the second is the Strategic Management Professional Certification. And each of these items we'll be discussing further in the next few slides. And there are also links there to information about strategy certifications for comparison purposes. So all of that on the ASP website, which is strategyassociation.org. So the first level of certification that we have, and since the first step for you is identifying your eligibility, what you might apply for. So the strategy planning professional has the role of working with executives, managers, and their teams in all types of organizations. Eligibility requires one of the 4 items on this page. First is 5 years of work experience with your primary responsibilities in the area of strategic planning and strategic management. or 5 years working as a manager with at least a year where your primary responsibilities were in strategic planning or strategic management, or 2 years of work experience plus eligible education covering at least 2 areas of the following strategic planning domains: formulation of strategy, implementation of strategy, execution of strategy, and affecting the environment to support your strategies. And 1 year of work experience in strategic planning and 1 year in a similar field like analysis, finance, marketing, human resources policy, project management, and then eligible education with at least 2 areas of the 4 strategic planning domains. Once again, formulating strategy, implementing strategy, executing, and the strategic environment. So that is level 1. The strategic management professional works with C-level, with executive CEO, CFO, COO, and their teams. Requires a minimum of 10 years work experience in any or all of the domains of the certification competencies in the body of knowledge, all of which have to do with strategic management and planning, and a high degree of competency in 5 of the business acumen competency areas which are on the application. You get, I think there are 14 maybe, and you choose 5 of those and describe your background in those. Or a minimum of 7 years of work experience plus active designation as a strategic planning professional, the initial level of certification. So if you have the SPP, the requirements are reduced for you to go on to the SMP. In that one, it also says you may have a bachelor's degree with focus on strategic planning and a high degree of competency in 5 of the business acumen areas. Or a minimum of 5 years of work experience plus graduation from a degree program in business, public, or not-for-profit administration, strategic planning, or strategic management. There's a list of subtopics that you may be proficient in. And the final requirement would be, the final alternative requirement is within the past 10 years has been a professor of strategic planning studies at an accredited college or university and has 5 years work experience in the domains. So there are many ways. You can see there are 5 to get into the SMP program. There are even more in the SPP. So there are various avenues that can take you to qualification for certification. Our map to certification consists of 5 steps. One is determining your eligibility to take the SPP or SMP exam. And the last 2 slides I covered were the qualifications, the eligibility for SPP or SMP. And you can see they are varied. There are various ways to demonstrate sufficient background knowledge. The step 2 would be to prepare for and apply to take the exam for SPP or SMP. And I will be describing it later, but the exam has come from being an in-person exam where you went to a testing center to being an online examination. So it is far more convenient, far more accessible around the world, which we're very happy about. Preparing for the exam, we'll talk. Preparing for the exam, we'll be talking about also in a few minutes, but ASP provides materials for preparation, and we will also discuss study groups that are available for assistance. The step 3 would be that ASP reviews your application and accepts it or provides feedback and suggestions, and you can then reapply. The current session for the upcoming exam, applications are accepted until December 15th, which gives you about 6 weeks if you are urgently wanting to get certified. Step 4 is to schedule and take your exam. As I said, it is an online exam. and therefore much more accessible and easier to schedule. The next exam period is January 15th to the 31st of 2022. So applications by December 15th would make you eligible for that exam period, January 15th to 31st, when the exam will be available online. Then the exam is scored and you're notified of your pass-fail status within 4 to 10 business days of test completion. And if necessary, we do offer the opportunity to retake the exam and as often as you feel you need to. So once again, the steps: determine your eligibility. And now we're going to talk about how to submit an application for the certification. So in preparing for the exam, you would assess your readiness to certify, which really is a question of how familiar am I with the materials and concepts and ideas? Have I read about them? Have I any experience in applying those skills and techniques? There are available workbooks and study guides. We'll talk a little bit about how to form or find a study group. There are several that are sponsored by ASP, and there are others that can be, that you can contact other people interested in certifying and work together to help each other study. We have available registered education providers. In fact, our sponsor today is a registered education provider, and they provide courses that also prepare you for this examination at a discounted rate. There is a discount available for, through our sponsor to their preparation programs. And we do provide a body of knowledge framework that identifies the concepts and principles that are covered in our certification process. So as I said, when you take the exam, it is a remote proctored exam, and there is a testing fee and a payment option. So for us, there is an application fee for the work to review the application and provide the feedback and scoring. And there is also a testing fee, and we have payment options for that. And then there are recertification guidelines. So within 5 years, every 5 years, we have certificants recertify through additional experiences and learning and growth, clearly, as in any certification. There is an ongoing expectation that you stay in the field, that you operate in the strategic planning and strategic management, and that you continue to grow your skills. We're working on a digital badge from Credly that will be something you'll have access to constantly, that will verify that you aren't just putting our logo on your letterhead, that you actually have a certification that travels with you. And we will also answer questions about how to become a registered education provider. So for organizations that train people in strategy and strategic planning and strategic management, they are eligible to become registered education providers for this purpose. And finally, I mentioned study groups, and we have a few mechanisms for that. One is you can email the association at certification@strategyassociation.org and request to join a study group. And we are facilitating those with our certified volunteers who can help the learning process for a group, a study group that's working together. And we have an already established Facebook group. And I will at the end of the session, I will, or in an email that comes out after with the video, we'll make sure that this link, because that you have this link rather than trying to copy it down. Okay, and this is the Facebook, oh, that went quickly. The Facebook study group page where you can join the group. You can request to join the group and become part of the current group of people who are studying for the examination. Okay, so we have actually reached the end of the presentation, knowing that there will be quite a few questions to be answered. I'm going to stop the slides and open the chat box, and we will look at what questions have come up so far. And between Deborah and I and Jihad Muhammad, who is also on the call, on the webinar, we'll do our best to answer them.
Barbara, I think we should just mention that Jihad Muhammad is currently the chair of the commission. So I don't know if Jihad, if you just wanted to do a quick introduction for people who may not know you, and he is doing a fabulous job. We are a group of volunteers in putting together and overseeing the certification program. So just want to compliment Jihad, has been giving a lot of his time and energy into improving the processes here and expanding the scope. So people that want to obtain the certification strategy are able to do so. So Jihad, if you would just take a moment, I think folks should get to know who you are and what you're doing for ASP certifications.
Thanks, Deborah.
Thanks, Deborah. My name is Jihad Muhammad. I am the chairman of the Certification Commission, and I am part of the board of director of ASP. I am from Saudi Arabia, working for a company called Darul Riyadh, and thanks for my management who put, my current volunteering as part of my leadership development program. I hold the SPP. This journey started, in 2015. And after being a part of some of the volunteering opportunities inside ASP, which has expanded my leadership capacity, I nominated myself in the board of directors, and then I chaired the Certification Commission. And I would like to, call upon, that we have a lot of volunteering opportunities inside our Certification Commission. And we need your support to grow this certification and take it to the next heights. I think that's our plan moving forward.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I see that the first set of questions in here are, will we be able to get a copy of the presentation? And Karishma has responded that yes, it will be sent today after the webinar, so you can review it at your leisure, and that will be available to you. The second question is about the cost for certification, and there are fees for members of the Association for Strategic Planning and non-members, because non-members are welcome to become certified through our organization. So the application fee for members is $200. The non-member fee is $250. That is for the application, which is then, of course, reviewed and, will provide feedback if necessary. The examination fee is $725 for ASP members and $925 for non-members. Many people do this process with the support of their organization, their employer, and the employer may pay the cost of this. We have several organizations that certify everyone that is in their strategy and planning departments, and they're very supportive of the process, and their expectations of the department are related to the qualifications and the capacities, the abilities that we outline in our body of knowledge.
Barbara, could we take a moment to have Jihad maybe explain a little bit more about the application process and when the fee is charged, et cetera?
Yes, we could.
Okay. For the applications, we have the SPP application, which is typically open for at least you should have 2 years of experience. Previously, it was at least 5 to 6 years, but due to the request of a lot of people, we made it at least you have 2 years of experience, of which one of them you should be contributing to the one of the domains of the strategy life cycle. According to our competency file, we have 4 domains. The first one is strategy engagement. The second one is strategy formulation. The third one is preparing for strategy implementation or strategic transformation in some of the disciplines. And the last domain, the fourth domain, is strategy implementation. So in order for you to apply for our certification, you should at least, I'm talking about SPP here, you should at least have 2 years, of which one of them, you are contributing at least to 1 or 2 domains. I will give one example. Those people who are working in organization development, organization design, HR, and so forth, and marketing, they can apply for our strategic planning professional credential. For the second level, which is the strategic management professional, this is somehow more specialized and requires more knowledge and experience. We are targeting through this certification those people in the first tier of the organization who are contributing to the 4 domains of the strategy life cycle. They are leading the 4 domains in their companies, such as the CEOs, chief strategy officers, in some companies, chief financial officers, etc. I saw one question about, why do I need to send an application before I go and apply for the exam? That's very critical, because to keep the standards high, we should ensure that we are having the right people to apply for our certifications. What happens if we have the wrong people, for example, the SMP specifically, we will have some standard deviation problems and what we call in our industry, certification industry, the reliability issue. So the statistics will become, not reliable if we have people who are not, coming from the, expected knowledge and experience. That's not going to work, especially for SMP. And a lot of people complain, I was declined for the SMP certification. We always try to explain the reason for those people, and we always try, if you're not accepted for SMP, we are accepting you for SPP. We always try to be transparent in our, standards, in our processes, so people, help us, because we have a common goal and a common mission to grow the standards in the field of strategy in the world. So that's so important and critical. We keep an open eye for the certificate experience. We are using this term inside our certification commission, and due to our studies, we have made this, the SPP, strategic planning professional application, more convenient to our applicants. And after making a small study, we requested the certification commissioners to take off the references from the SPP applications. However, we still believe that the SMP application requires more thorough study, more thorough analysis, and we have a committee, by the way, for the SMP to approve every single application. And I would like to call upon everyone who's willing to apply for the SMP. You should go to our website and ensure that you have the right experience and knowledge. And when you fill the application, please take enough time, because I feel very sad when someone deserves to be eligible for the application, but he did not take care of application. And out of fairness, we are accepting people based on the application. So I would like to stress out that let us take care of the application, because there is a review committee that is going to go through it. I hope I answered the question, Deborah.
Great.
Right. is the fee charged at the time of application or upon acceptance to take the exam? That might be a question our audience has.
Yeah, actually, the people apply, and then after being accepted, they pay the fees.
Right. So on that note, Jackie is asking, can someone tell me if they believe my experience will count before I submit my application? And because the work she's doing is not necessarily in strategy, not a title that may be familiar. And I think the question is, yes, in fact, in the study groups, especially the Facebook moderated study group, the facilitator ought to be able to assist you, or any of us might be able to assist you in by asking you questions about the kinds of work that you do, the kinds of access you have, and assist you. But I think also, as Jihad is saying, it's about how you explain it to us in the application. And so your description of the appropriate skills that are being used and responsibilities that you have helps us determine. I've been scoring these for 10 years, so it really helps me. The more you can tell me about what you're doing and how you go about doing it, the more I understand about how that work is relevant to strategy and strategic management. But we will help you. And as I said, you can submit the application. We can give you some feedback and you can resubmit it if necessary.
Barbara, can I complement to this answer?
Yes.
Actually, throughout the last 3 months, I keep receiving this question, and it keeps popping up here and there, you know, through the email certification@strategyassociation.org. And by the way, this is our official email that you can send whatever you want, and we will help you instantly. Sometimes you receive a request from someone, Jihad, I am an HR professional, but I am doing some strategic contribution. I am contributing to the strategic transformation. So I usually conduct a quick chat, 15 or 20 minutes, to make career counseling. Many cases, I give some, my opinion that yes, you can do it. In some few cases, I tell this is not the time. You need at least 1 or 2 years. My recommendation: go and read this, do that. So I am thinking to make structured career counseling. The reason why is that because strategy as a profession is so unique. We don't go to the university to study a bachelor degree in strategy. If you want to become an engineer, you go study a bachelor degree to become an engineer, and so forth for accounting, finance, etc. But for strategy, it's a distinguished and unique career. So people sometimes needs some bridge to become in the field of strategy. I personally was in the field of strategic transformation, or what is called organizational development. But when I got the SPP, that was of a great help to me to lead the strategy in my company. So what I want to say, we will be structuring some career counseling, in the future. In the meantime, if you have a question and you want to chat with me for a quick meeting, I will be more than glad to help. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, there's another question in here on, can someone elaborate on how the ASP certification compares to others from consultant and training institutes? And what I would answer is that this certification is very specifically, it definitely considers that consulting and training are two functions that a strategic consultant ought to be competent in. And so some of the questions do relate to consulting and training skills, but it is primarily focused on the content of strategy formation, strategy evaluation, strategy implementation, and organizational success. So that it's that content that is the primary body of knowledge. And then, you know, tools that can be used by consultants and trainers. So it's more content focused than consulting and training, than broad generic consulting and training skills are.
And if I could add to that, I think maybe the question is asking too about how we're different from other potential tests or content that might be out there from other organizations or other entities. In that sense, because we are the global leader in strategy, we also set the standards there. And I think that's important to note, that we have the body of knowledge. We're into the 3.0s where we're moving here. And so that's been pretty extensive and researched over the years since ASP has been around for more than, it's been almost 20, 23, 24 years, correct? So I think there's a lot of buildup there that some of the other entities do not have. So we bring that to the table as well, as long with setting those standards, which I think is critical and best practices. So I hope that's helpful.
And
I would like to complement to what Deborah and Barbara just mentioned. I think it's very essential to differentiate between a certification program and a training certificate. And I keep receiving this question, and I think, you know, it deserves some time for explanation. Certification program is usually offered through a professional association or organization. Mostly it comes through non-for-profit organization, but some for-profit organizations do offer certification program. First, the certification is offered through a professional association organization, but a training certificate is usually offered through a training institute. Secondly, we as the ASP, we are the umbrella for all strategy methodologies. We are not offering certain methodology in strategy. In strategy, there are a lot of methodologies. So we are the umbrella for all the other methodologies in the world. And, you know, we keep updating our body of knowledge. Now we are coming up with the third edition of the body of knowledge. Whereas the training certificate is usually covering a certain methodology, you know, not the complete methodology. And this is very important for us. We might work in an organization that is operating or using another methodology. So the critical thinking, what matters for you as a strategy professional. Third, and this is, I think I covered it, we as ASP, we are a non-for-profit organization. We are not a commercial organization. I'm not criticizing commercial organization. We are so proud that we have LBL strategies, one of the best institutes that provides training in the field of strategy. But for us as the certification program owner, we don't do training ourselves because there might be a potential conflict of interest. So we do it through reliable training institutes like LBL strategies. And by the way, we are so proud at ASP that our certificates are coming from the largest corporations and organizations in the world. Our certificates are coming from, for example, the US Army, Stanford University, Saudi Aramco, Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, Federal Reserve, central banks in Uganda, Dominican, the International Atomic Energy Agency. We have, you know, one lady this recent batch, UNICEF. So we have, you know, throughout the last 10 years, we built the reliability through the programs, and we keep having people from the largest organizations approach our certification program. Lastly, and this is very important, you know, when you get our certification, it's a license, it's an asset in your hands. It is a proof that you deserve to become a true strategic planner. I hate to criticize some of these training offered outside, starting with the word certified. You know, it's used for promotion purposes. I would consider it sometimes unethical because people are confused. They want to learn, they want to, you know, grow in their career, but this is not the right way to do it. We are setting the standards for strategy, and we have a code of ethics that we want to maintain and ensure that that is happening. So that's very important to differentiate between certification program and the training certificate.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, so one of the questions is also about renewal and continuing education. So every 5 years, a certified person submits their contact hours, hours they have spent facilitating strategic planning, training others, teaching or training others, or developing their own education, getting additional knowledge and education. And so those are the areas in which we evaluate your continuing education and for renewal, that you continue to grow. Here's an interesting question. Carla asked, what's the best way to search and see others who have SMP or SPP on LinkedIn? It's possible that you can search those initials on LinkedIn. Jihad, do we still keep on our website? We used to at one point keep a list of all of the certified,
yes,
all of the people
actually,
in each category.
We have kept, the people's status, some of them deceased, some of them inactive, active. So we kept it, transparent on our website. So if you're looking for someone who's certified and active, our website is the best place for that.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I just want to compliment Barbara's point about recertification. As Barbara said, for the SMP, you need to make the recertification process every 5 years. However, for the SPP, you need to make the recertification process every 3 years. So I thought just
thank you for that correction. Okay. And the next question is, we have the BOK 2.0 already. Can we exchange it for BOK 3.0? I will say that for the January, because the 3.0 is not completed and not yet fully available to exam takers, that the 2.0 will apply for the exam in January. I'm guessing many of you might want more time to prepare. So we're probably looking at the testing period in May. And I believe we hope to have 3.0 published in time to study for the May examination. Is that true, Jihad? Is that what you're understanding?
For the body of knowledge, the plan is, quarter 2, 2022. So it's between May, June, as far as I remember. Mm-hmm. It's very important to highlight that for you to prepare for the exam, the structure of the exam is based on the competencies file that is available on our website. The body of knowledge will help you, bridge the gap in the, competencies profile, which is the blueprint for the exam, and where you can see the percentages of the 4 domains I just talked about: the strategy engagement, formulation, preparing for strategy implementation, and strategy implementation. So you can go and read the body of knowledge, the second version. We still, for example, Abdurrahman al-Turki, the one who just delivered a live testimonial, he studied from the body of knowledge, the second version, and the competencies profile, along with the flashcards that we have in our website. Whereas some other people go to our certification preparation provider, LBL, to make more structured training. It depends. I keep receiving this question, Jihad, how can I study? My answer, in a very simple way, it depends on your experience. If you are hands-on strategy guy, and you practice strategy, and by the way, we have another guy from Saudi Arabia who scored the highest score in the last cycle, the same way. He studied the competencies file, the body of knowledge, and the flashcards. But when I checked his experience, he was working with McKinsey, with the Boston Consulting, group through his organization, the PIF of Saudi Arabia. So if you didn't have the hands-on experience in strategy, my advice to you, you might consider either the study group, which is free of charge. We are not pushing you to go and pay money, or if you have the capability through the company sponsorship or through your personal sponsorship, you can go to LVL Strategies. And by the way, we are having a new program called the Certification Preparation Provider, and we are going to have very soon a new group of approved training providers. So that's something that we need to clarify.
Okay, let's see. I will say that I'm assuming it will be true that the body of knowledge that is currently available on strategyassociation.org will be the one that pertains to the upcoming exam. That before we alter the exam, the body of knowledge 3.0 will be published and ready so that when the exam is adjusted to meet that body of knowledge, you will have access to the tool that you need. So it can be purchased. The current body of knowledge, which some people already have, can be purchased on the website. If you're a member of ASP, you get a free copy of the body of knowledge. What percentage is needed to pass or fail the exam? It's in the vicinity of 70%, I believe. It's calculated for us by psychometricians, by people whose job it is to calculate the percentage of correct answers and the value, but it is in the vicinity of 70%. So you have some leeway. And I will say that while we have very specific events and accomplishments that need to happen in working with strategic planning or strategic management, there are many, many tools. There's a wide variety of tools that are discussed in the body of knowledge and in the examination that are available to you for various steps in the process. And that is probably something that most of us can use some brushing up on. Because there are so many kinds of tools people have used in various stages of strategic planning and strategic management. There's a question about, there is also a question about, are we going to send out the answers to these questions? And Karishma, is that possible for us to do? We may have to pass it around and edit the responses. I don't know, they're captured by the recording, but
I will ensure someone from the Certification Commission does that and summarizes for people.
Okay, so if they take what's recorded, we can go back through the answers and make sure that they're complete and accurate. Thank you. Is there assistance for those who can't afford the certification fee right now? I don't know the answer to that question. That's something that we need to discuss, I guess, as an association.
We do have the discounts available through our sponsor, which were identified on the slide at the beginning there. So there are discounts available. And as you mentioned,
preparation.
Yeah,
for training to prepare for the exam.
Right.
But for the exam fees themselves, I'm not certain whether we have offered any.
Actually, these kind of things has to go through the Certification Commission.
Yes.
I personally received some cases before. Some people said I cannot pay the financials now. So we sometimes offer to get the money, by installments, or, we can try to find any kind of support, because we are a non-for-profit organization, but at the same time, we have our own dues, we have to pay them. I received a lot of, questions from third party, some countries that have low income. I am proposing to the Certification Commission in the future, not now. Maybe we can have some fees based or structured around the national income of some countries. So that's going to be part of our ethics and standards. But we need to make some studies very careful about these kind of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for George's question, I think we're getting close to our hour. We don't want to keep you longer, but we moved the exam period from November, December, which is normally our winter cycle, to January, just because our support organization has had a change of staff and we needed additional time to prepare for it. So it is moved to January 15th to 30th, both for applicants' sake and for our sake in managing the process. We need to onboard some new people. Okay, and the reason for submitting an application prior to taking the certification test is really to reduce frustration for applicants. We really would like to ensure that what you're telling us that your experience and your capabilities are a pretty good match to what you'll be seeing on the exam, so that people will not be surprised and frustrated. We really are doing the application to ensure practical application of your skills, as well as to prepare you, make sure that you are prepared for the examination. And to verify, when I did a training certification, I actually required a DVD be submitted with 30 minutes of presentation and facilitation skills as a demonstration of skill. That's more difficult with this kind of certification. So we're asking for you to describe your experiences and your expertise. And that's why we do the application first and then the exam. I think the answer to the 4 domains there, people have been putting answers in as well, which is wonderful. And I believe that we have covered just about all of the questions. So if you have additional questions, you can contact strategy. What is this? It's certification@strategyassociates.org is the email address for inquiries. You can contact Jihad or Deborah or me directly if you would like to, and we can make our email addresses available to you. And we hope we have answered most of the questions you have, and I hope we haven't dampened your enthusiasm, because it really is a very, I found it a very stimulating process to go through, and an assurance that I am competent in the field that I've been pursuing for many years. So thank you all for attending.